So as you just saw, we're in LA for the week. Taya, my girlfriend, works for an LA-based company and they're doing an on-site, so that is the primary reason for us being here. Luckily, since I don't have to request off since I work for myself, I usually try to tag along. This is a pretty new job for her. She started in early June, I think, but she's been traveling for her job semi-regularly for a few years, so I always try to join her whenever I'm able. This is the first time in LA for both of us. We've been to San Francisco a couple of times and stuff, but we'd never been here before, so I wanted to take it as an opportunity to kind of not only work in a different location for a bit and have a different environment, but also to explore a little bit, see some of the city. It's so huge, so I know it's impossible to see very much in just a few days, but I wanted to just kind of get out and see what I could and try out some coffee and pastries. Those are typically the things that we try a lot of whenever we're traveling. No matter the city or country, we're always looking for the best coffee, cafes, pastries, anything like that. It's something that we really, really enjoy. I'm sure that we have a long list now of our favorites from different places. So this morning we went over to Tartine, which is a really famous bakery. They have multiple locations in different cities, but I'd been there before in San Francisco, but Taya had never been, and it's just a couple of blocks from our hotel. So that was a really great start to our morning. It's also really nice going from Eastern time to Pacific because we can wake up early here and it's kind of late at home, so we were able to really catch up on sleep after a travel day. After we finished breakfast, Taya went into the office with one of our coworkers, and I really spent my morning working. I had my biggest contract yet come in for Ace Media yesterday while I was on a plane, so I've been playing a little bit of catch up to make sure everything's squared away to get going on that. It is ad support for the election cycle, so I've worked with political and advocacy ads a lot before, so I was kind of uniquely suited to jump in and help this organization handle the influx of needs that they have during this time. It's pretty lucky for me how timing worked out because I've just wrapped up a couple of projects with another client. So I'm able to take on, whatever they need me to do, but that's pretty exciting. And then I was working on some like Nashville Rising stuff, but primarily I was working on this video. Eventually maybe I'll share some of my like workflow for how I do YouTube videos. I'm still pretty like beginner at it, but I like to upload my videos like the day of. So if I spend the day like recording clips, I'll go and put them in the folder on my computer at the end of the day, and then I usually will edit in batches too, so that I don't have like all of it built up from the week and then I have to do it all like on a Sunday. So I went ahead and edited like my whole intro, and then it'll be easier to build out the rest of the video from there. So spent the morning working and doing some editing, and then I went and explored a bit. My first stop, I was really hungry, needed some lunch, and I went to Erewhon. I heard that their like fresh food was really good, and honestly it was great. It wasn't nearly like as pricey as I expected it to be. I think people hyped that part up a lot. But I stopped by there and got a sandwich, and it was good. And then I went over to like more into Beverly Hills, into like Rodeo Drive and stuff, and just wandered around. And it was nice. I usually take the public transportation whenever I'm in cities. Tay and I typically prefer it because we think it's a really good way to actually experience the city as it is, instead of, just getting into an Uber every time you need to go somewhere. I took buses. It's not always the quickest route, especially in a city like this. It's not like in New York or London where the transportation's like super efficient, but it worked for me. So after I did some wandering, came back here, and I'm pretty well in for the evening. It's 6:20, which means it's 9:20 at home, which explains why I'm getting a little sleepy. I've been sipping on a bit of coffee, but Tay is out at a work event, so I'm probably going to get some more work done. I know I talked in my last video about how, we went on a little family vacation, and I really like logged off completely, and then coming back into things last week was really, really tough, and I realized that like I can't be doing that, and pulling my energy out of everything so wholly. So this week, I already knew that I'd be working quite a bit while I'm here, but I'm just allowing myself the space to like really do that as I wish, because honestly, I enjoy working in different environments. Like there's a really nice courtyard outside of our window, and the weather finally cooled off here, so I might go work outside. I might find a nice cafe or coffee shop to work in, and that to me is just refreshing anyway. But I also get so much fulfillment out of the work that I do that it really doesn't feel like a burden. It doesn't feel like I'm like missing out or anything. So, and this trip is really not meant to be like a vacation because Tay is working, so we are only getting a little bit of time to like do any like exploring on our own. The plan for the next few days is tomorrow I'll probably do some work here, and then Taya may or may not be able to leave work a bit early tomorrow so that we can do some running around the city together. I think that would really be fun, so I hope she can. And then Thursday, she'll be back in the office and really busy all day. She has a work event in the evening, which I'm invited to, so I'll join her on that and be her plus one. And then Friday, I have an onboarding for this new client, and then immediately have to leave for the airport. So this trip is really a quick one, but it's been really nice so far. So it is 6 p.m. on Saturday. We got back late last night from LA. We had a really good week. As I mentioned previously in the video, we were primarily there for Taya's work. So I got to meet her coworkers on Thursday night and we had a good time, and then left at like 3 p.m. Eastern yesterday and flew back home. So it was a pretty quick trip, but still felt very busy and pretty exhausting. I feel like I never really adjusted to like being on Pacific time. For some reason, that was like especially hard this time, and like waking up this morning was really difficult. So definitely need to take like the weekend to rest and recover. Part of this weekend too, I really like that we got back on a Friday so that we have like the full weekend to kind of use it as a reset. So today we did some cleaning and like caught up on, tracking our finances to see where we're at after the trip. Talked about what's coming this week. So tomorrow we'll probably dig deeper into our sprint for now until our trip to Paris. We have a lot that we're working on, and probably in next week's video I'll share more about a specific project that I haven't talked about yet that's going to involve a lot of heavy work over the coming weeks. So we'll probably spend a lot of time tomorrow, if not like most of the day, just diving into all of the spreadsheets that manage our lives and making sure we're in a good spot. Like check in our energy and see how we're feeling, how the momentum is feeling in life, and try to get back to being ready to dig into work and life. We did work during the trip, but it can still take a second to readjust back in. That's something I talked about whenever we got back from our last trip, is I had fully disconnected from work. And so this time, since I was working every day, it's definitely easier, but there's still kind of that transition from like, I'm getting my work done to like, okay, I'm in a state where I can brainstorm and I can plan and I can really push things forward. I feel like that's something that's very necessary as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, is to be like mentally ready to do deep dives into, different strategies and pivots and ideas almost on a daily basis. It's not efficient to be doing that constantly, but you never know when something's going to happen, when you have to rethink something or you're struck with a really good idea and you have to have the energy and capacity mentally to give time to it. So that's what I want to be prepared to do. It's something that I've been working toward a lot lately, is being able to function at a higher capacity more consistently. Right now I feel like I have a few days in a row or a couple days in a row where I am just really, really productive and I'm really killing it, and then I kind of come down from it and I can still get work done, but it's like my mind isn't quite as clear and I'm not able to give as much as I want to be doing, and that's when like days can kind of feel a bit wasteful. So I'm trying to shift things in my schedule and how I just like live on a daily basis to support being more productive and more efficient more often. I know that sounds very like in the vein of like the grind culture and the hustle culture, and I don't really view it that way. It's just what is required of me at this point in time in my life. I was actually listening to a podcast on our way home. I really like Emma Chamberlain's podcast because she's a yapper and sometimes she shares some really good like nuggets of information, but she was talking about how you go through periods of life where it's very work heavy, and that's just what's needed to reach your goals and ambitions, and then you go through other periods where it's more relaxed and you can find more of a balance, and then there are other periods where it's much more restful. So I know that this is a period of a lot of work, and so I have to make sure that I am up for that as often as I can be, and then on the other side, like giving myself rest and breaks when needed too. So right now we're getting ready to go to a soccer match. I am exhausted, but not gonna miss the match. So I'm gonna go to that, and then like I said, tomorrow is a big reset day for us, and I'll probably record some of that for next week's. So thank you for being here. If you got this far in, I really appreciate you watching. And if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe. Drop a comment if there's anything in this video that interested you in particular, or anything you'd like me to talk about, or something you want to see. And I'll see you next week.